Now, college freshmen say the darndest things. I want you guys to listen to podcaster Chip Layton as he read some real text messages from young people to their parents as they embarked on their higher learning.
My son asked me what his maiden name was. Daughter thought fresh towels would be delivered to her dorm room daily. Asked if the toilet ran off electricity. 19-year-old asked how you dial the spaces in a phone number. Son put 911 for his emergency contact because it literally is for emergencies. For primary care provider, he wrote, my mom.
You know, I feel like these are some answers that maybe in my youth I may have given. This is our future, by the way. So those nearing retirement may feel somewhat intimidated when they sit down with a financial advisor for the first time, afraid of asking ridiculous questions like what we just this catalog there. How do you put them at ease so that they're not afraid to ask any question?
Well, I had that reminds me back when my daughter was a freshman and some of the texts. Although I didn't get many of those crazy text messages, but
You're lucky to get text anymore.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
get a text from my 19-year-old. I'm like,
yes,
what are you doing?
yes, I know exactly. Well, actually, this topic really kind of rings dear and dear to our hearts here because this past week, Nolan Baker and the team here, we put together a client advisory board. And basically, what we do is we invite, about 10 of our clients in to come in and talk to us, and we go through some different things, and we kind of figure out, it helps us build the relationship with the client, but it also shows us the good, the bad, and the ugly of things that we may be doing, right? And fortunately, there was no ugly. There were some things that they would like to see differently, right? And there were a lot of things that they liked that we were currently doing, which was good. And it kind of helps us, the more that we can listen to our clients, give them what they're looking for. It kind of helps us maintain that really high retention rate that we have. I think Nolan said we were at like 98% retention on our current clients, which is phenomenal. But one of the things that really came out of it that was really kind of, it was really kind of neat to hear, and it poses a big question and problem out there, is a few of the people have some young adults, right? And when I say young adults, we're looking at somewhere between 22 to 30 years old. And one of their big concerns, because we do a lot of educational events here, I do my educational meetings on Medicare, and I know that we have 2 events a year that Nolan puts on, which is the economic summits. And we kind of go over a little bit about how the economy is and what's new out there in the market and the things to be prepared for. And a couple of these people, these parents, said one of the things that they would really like to see is an event that was geared towards their young adults, because they've talked to them about the importance of investing and putting money aside. And they said, the one person had 4 children, and she says, I've only got one of the 4 that has any idea at all about investing. The other 3, and she says it's very important for us to instill in them these values, but they just don't get it coming from us. So I found that to be somewhat interesting. Yeah. So I kind of looked back with like my daughter. So my daughter gets a job. She graduates from college. She gets a job. She goes out and they have a benefits package. So I'm sitting with her and I'm going through all of these things, and I signed her up for her health insurance, which is auto deduct from her checking account, and I set her up for her dental and vision, and then putting money aside into a 401k. And she said, Dad, what's that? I don't need that, do I? I go, yes, you do need that, She doesn't know what she doesn't know, right? So we set that all up, and I said, you'll never miss it because you'll never see it, and just keep putting in the max. And anytime you can have a 401k where an employer is going to max or match, it's free money. Why not take advantage of that, So, one of the things that we do here is we can actually, kind of put the mind at ease and let our clients know that, we're on top of it. We've got your interest in best interest at hand, and I know we've got some young people in the office, Connor and Cody, that are interns, and Cody is actually hired now here, and they were that young freshman sending these goofy texts.
Yeah.
So,
That was funny.
yes. What do you have to add?
I think I loved that part of the conference that we have with our clients because I think it does ring true. I think that that's a good way for us to give back and help the next generations really prosper financially. I don't exactly know why, but I do see that as a trend for that generation. Maybe could be just that the market has not been all that great, in their lifetime, and so maybe they're a bit fearful. I know I was coming out of college. It was 2000, 2001, which was the tech wreck.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went to work, and then 2008, 2009 shortly happened. So as a general rule, I feel like I've always been pretty conservative. But for our retirees, though, that question of not asking a dumb question, I think some of the things that we do well here at the Retirement Guys, and I'm going to include AMA in it as well, is that we don't talk too much in acronyms.
Right.
I think that confuses people. In our industries are rife with them. AEP, OEP, IRA, RMD. That can get very confusing. We try not to do general rules of thumb. I'm not a big fan of just subtract your age and put from 100 and that's the percent they should have in a certain asset class. We try to be very specific in our recommendations. We also try to really do a good job of speaking to the non-financial spouse.
Mm-hmm.
I know in most families there's somebody that maybe takes care of the money and then somebody that's kind of actually taking care of the household or whatnot.
Sure.
I was in a meeting with another advisor and we asked his spouse what she did for a living, and she said, "Well, I'm a homemaker." And he's like, "Okay, you're only one that works then, basically." So
Right.
just joking around, but that's hard work. So
Yeah.
speaking to the non-financial spouse and understanding that sometimes there are these cognitive biases I think that we all have as people. So one may be recency bias, to think that the market has done a certain percent or traditionally has averaged this, and so I assume that it's going to average that in my retirement. Or risk aversion. Risk aversion is really an interesting topic for me because we do a risk analysis, in our financial planning. And just by posing the question, would you sacrifice the opportunity to get in the market for a particular, fixed rate? Some clients will answer a certain way. If I just change the question to say, would you sacrifice, would you take a risk to avoid a loss? Most often people will take the same trade-off, the same risk,
Right.
just to avoid the loss. People have an aversion to loss. They're more fearful of loss than they are of gain. So it's taken a lot of experience and time, which I think is what
Sure.
sets us apart, to know that those things exist. And people are people. And so speaking to them, not trying to oversimplify or mansplain or undersimplify, and just being real, I think is what we do here good at the Retirement Guys.
And it's one of those things where it can certainly seem intimidating, the whole prospect of retirement and making your money last for the rest of your life. That's the goal, right? And to try to do it alone, or to come to people like the team at America's Retirement Headquarters who have over 50 plus years of combined industry experience. It can seem daunting and intimidating, but we are talking about your finances, your retirement, and so don't be afraid to ask those questions. They've, I'm sure, heard a wide gamut of things, and the worst questions asked, or the worst questions are the ones that you don't ask, because if you want to know, I'm sure that someone else has wanted to know before, and they've certainly heard those situations. Let them address it. Let them explain it to you. Not talk above you, not talk down to you, but certainly on a level way, and hopefully set your mind at ease when it comes to your retirement prospects. It all starts with that phone call. 419-794-3030. That's the number. That's how you get started. Once again, 419-794-3030. You can always find them online, Americasretirementheadquarters.com. I want to thank you so much for joining us this week here on the show, spending part of your weekend with us here on America's Retirement Headquarters. Please have a great week ahead of you. Have a safe week ahead of you. It's the holiday season, so make sure you go and do something festive. Chaz, as always, appreciate it. Scott, appreciate you as always as well. And guys, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with the final word.
Well, I want to thank Chaz for joining today and helping out today. The best thing money can buy is financial freedom. Thank you all for listening, and hope you all have a safe and Merry Christmas and safe travels wherever you may head.
Happy holidays, everybody.